Welcome back to my rubber heart. Today we are going to explore a hidden challenge in peroxide curing: how high-activity acidic carbon blacks can interfere with cross-linking and what can be done to counteract these negative effects. If you've ever had issues with low crosslink density, poor mechanical properties, or inconsistent curing when using peroxide, the culprit might not be the peroxide itself, but rather the type of carbon black in the formulation. Carbon black plays a crucial role in rubber compounding, providing reinforcement, conductivity, and UV resistance, but not all carbon blacks behave the same way. Some are highly active and acidic, meaning they contain functional groups like carboxyl, phenolic, and quinone on their surface. These groups can interfere with peroxide curing by absorbing or deactivating free radicals, which are essential for forming the strong carbon-carbon bonds that peroxide curing relies on. When these radicals are scavenged by the carbon black instead of initiating cross-linking, the result is a lower degree of cure, reduced tensile properties, and poor long-term heat resistance. The most problematic carbon blacks for peroxide curing are those with high surface area and high structure, which means they have more sites available to interact and disrupt peroxide cross-linking. These include N110 superabrasion furnace black, N220 intermediate superabrasion furnace black, N330 high abrasion furnace black, and N375 fine furnace black. Their high reinforcement properties make them ideal for applications requiring excellent wear resistance, such as tire treads, conveyor belts, and mechanical goods. But in peroxide-cured systems, their acidic nature can significantly hinder the cross-linking reaction. Not all carbon blacks interfere with peroxide curing. Some grades are low activity or neutral, meaning they have fewer surface functional groups that interact with the peroxide radicals. The best choices for peroxide cure rubbers are N990 thermal black, N762 semi-reinforcing furnace black, and N774 conductive thermal black. These have lower surface areas and lower structure, making them much less likely to absorb free radicals or inhibit cross-linking. They are commonly used in applications where good dispersion and thermal stability are needed, like automotive weather stripping, cable, and gaskets. Now, let's talk about which polymers are most affected by these high-activity blacks. EPDM, NBR, and FKM are particularly sensitive to peroxide cure inhibition because their cross-linking relies entirely on free radical formation. In these polymers, when high-activity carbon blacks are used, the peroxide is less effective, leading to higher compression set, lower tensile strength, and poor heat aging resistance. Natural rubber and SBR are less affected because they have double bonds in their polymer chains, allowing some secondary cross-linking to occur, even if the peroxide efficiency is reduced. So, what can be done if high-activity carbon black must be used? One option is to increase peroxide loading to compensate for the radical loss. This helps ensure enough peroxide survives the interference to allow cross-linking to take place. But simply adding more peroxide isn't always the best solution because it can lead to processing issues, excessive blooming, or higher costs. A better approach is using coagents, special chemicals that help stabilize and enhance crosslink formation. Coagents like TIC, TMP-TMA, or HVA2 work by providing additional reactive sites for peroxide cross-linking, ensuring that even if some free radicals are lost to the carbon black, the curing process remains efficient. Another effective method is neutralizing the acidity of the carbon black surface. This can be done by pre-treating the carbon black with silanes or calcium hydroxide, which helps reduce the number of acidic functional groups that scavenge free radicals. This technique is especially useful when specific high reinforcement carbon blacks need to be used for mechanical strength but without compromising peroxide cure efficiency. Blending different types of carbon black is another solution. Instead of using only a high-activity reinforcing black, a mix of reinforcing and non-reinforcing blacks can be used to reduce the peroxide interference while still achieving the desired balance of strength and durability. For example, combining N330 with N990 can provide reinforcement while reducing the impact on peroxide curing. All of this underscores an important point. Peroxide crosslinking is not just about the peroxide itself. The type of carbon black used in the formulation can make or break the curing process. By choosing the right grade, optimizing peroxide levels, adding coagents, or neutralizing surface acidity, rubber compounders can ensure that peroxide curing remains efficient and delivers the expected material properties. Thanks for tuning into my Rubber Heart. If you found this episode insightful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. Let me know in the comments. Have you ever experienced issues with peroxide curing in a formulation? What solutions work best for you? See you next time. Until then, stay elastic and stay curious.